Diokno, Secretary Parandaman, Secretary Balisacan, and the rest of the team. Yeah, I'd like to make a very brief statement. I just want to ensure that uh, in the past week, our chairman has put on the floor the resolution, which is basically supporting the Ambition 2040 and the medium-term framework. And going through it, it sounds good. I support it. I chaired the committee on Ways and Means last Congress, and to put on record, and feel free to correct this, no, but I believe my team got this from BIR. With the syntax collection, we actually exceeded our targets. The target was 76.9 for 2020, and I'm told that the collection was 78.9. So 2 billion more. Create actually the foregone revenues were much less. No, the expected foregone revenues was 250 billion, and foregone revenue so far was 68 billion. So that's not too bad, no? For Pogo, I don't really. Maybe we can get updates on what do we really expect with this. It's in a way beyond their control, because these are operations that were which are operations of dependent on operations happening in another country, no, kaya nga offshore gaming yan, and yan medyo malayo yung target din natin na reach. So what I wanted to say here now is this: spread out in Ambition 2040 and the medium term are sustainable development objectives. Very specifically, the UN Sustainable Development Goals is even mentioned. So I'll zone in on education and health. For those two sectors, there are clear, well, not detailed targets, but a clear indication that we need to improve our delivery of education and delivery of health. Since I defended those budgets the last 3 years for education and the last 2 years for health, I do know, with the support of our chairman, that we have put in more funds than we ever have had in the previous years. But what I'd like to hear in the hours and days to come, and in the months to come from our secretaries, what I'd like to see really is consistency in the policies that we espouse and in the actual release of the funding. For education, the targets, let me just put this on record, the targets provided by UNESCO are between 4 to 6% of GDP, or at least 15% to 20% of public expenditure. If you recall, Mr. Chair, last year, the number we came up with was close to 4%. But what I have now, and this is based on DepEd USEC Densing's statements, is it is 2.9% of GDP, or 14.5% of the national budget. So that's still off the 4 to 6%. And since naghahabol tayo, I don't think it's enough for us to say na malapit na yan sa 4. Let's say it was 3.8, no? Malapit na sa 4. Hindi, naghahabol tayo di ba? So I think we should be on the upper end. Let's be clear about that. And with health, the recommended spending is 5% of GDP, and our actual is 1.38% in 2021. And for the net, it's 1.37%. So I think we need a lot of clarity here. And to just show, to give an example, I'd hate it that we're trying to spend, trying to scrounge and look for funding for these programs, as I know that is the intention. But with our left hand and then with our right hand, we're being careless, outrightly careless, or outrightly supporting programs that are not supportive of our direction for health and education. And the example that is perfect for this is removing from the FDA the authority over regulating e-cigarettes. I need to mention this because the health sector, the Department of Health, the FDA, the DepEd had all asked for the repeal of this, the sin tax law that had removed the authority of FDA and gave it to DTI, but I did not hear anything from the economic team. And this should matter to you because at the end of the day, the funding for health will be depleted for health-related issues when we are not being supportive of programs that no less than the Department of Health are asking us to support. So that's just an example. I leave it at that. I'll be listening diligently for the next 2 days and hopefully engaging so we can achieve the Ambition 2040 and the medium-term goals that this team wants us to support. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Salamat po, Senior Vice Chair Pia Cayetano, Senator Pia Cayetano, and we agree with her points regarding the SDGs and the need to focus on health and education dahil tama po siya, naghahabol po tayo. So maybe we can reconcile our figures because what we have for public education expenditure for 2021 is 3.97%. Baka yung 2.9 ng DepEd is pertaining to basic education. Maybe they didn't include the funds for TechVoc and other things. So that we can ask the committee to reconcile that. The SUCs also, yeah.
Actually, Mr. Chair, we did have figures closer to 4% last year, remember? We had a discussion on that also. So, and may LGU figures yan eh. So we really need the agencies to help us put together the right figures, no? But again, the argument is at this point, naghahabol tayo, we want to be on the higher end. I think
yes, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct, Your Honor. I totally agree with you. Well, let's not settle, in other words, is what you're saying. Let's aim high. I agree. Next, I don't know if we'd like to acknowledge the arrival of some of our colleagues virtually. We have the Minority Leader, Senator Coco Pimentel, and Migrant Workers and Energy Chair, Senator Rafi Tulfo. They're both